Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Kept Plans. Today's video is going to be a plan with me for the week of November 21st through the 27th, 2022 in my B5 Archer and Olive notebook. If you're interested in seeing that, please stick around. Some of you may have noticed that I did not post a plan with me last week. After returning back from vacation the week prior, I just didn't have the time or energy for one, so I ended up doing this running to-do list one-page spread. For this week, I'm going to be using these splatter stamps, this abstract set from Everyday Explorers Co. I was going to use these numbers from Studio Calico, but end up not. These letters are also from Studio Calico. I have some month stamps from Heidi Swap as well as this set of quotes from Heidi Swap. I will be using these two Distress Oxides as well as my black VersaFine ink for this spread. I have never done a one-page weekly spread in my B5 Archer and Olive notebook, and since I ended up kind of doing a running to-do list, very simple, just paper, pen, and a Tombow last week, I figured it would be a good time to try a more decorative one-page spread for this week. That way I don't have a random blank page that's being wasted. So I am going to start out with the top of the spread where I intend on putting in the month as well as a little bit of deco. I'm going to use this splatter stamp. It's my favorite stamp I have, with this Hickory Smoke Distress Oxide to lay down a little bit of deco. So this stamp I'm going to have kind of hanging off the page, and then I'm going to use one of these abstract stamps from Everyday Explorers Co. along with this, I think it's called Victorian Velvet, kind of a muted pink toned Distressed Oxide. And then I'm taking my November Heidi Swap stamp and using my VersaFine ink to put down the month. I definitely wanted the months and the days of the week to be in black ink, that way they stood out from the deco. So here I am putting down the month. I am debating, and as it stands right now, this week has not started yet, so I am debating handwriting in the week of the year underneath that. I just haven't actually done it, but I think I could squeeze it in if I really wanted to. Now I'm going to go back to using these ink splatter and abstract stamps to basically continue the deco to the bottom right corner of the spread, and then as you will see along the left side of the spread. So I put down the splatter stamp, I'm now putting down this abstract stamp, and basically I'm trying to create a little bit of a deco cluster in this bottom right corner. Once I have all of that deco down, I am going to pull out one of these quote stamps from Heidi Swap. The one that I put down says Making Memories Together, and I thought that was a good stamp considering that Thanksgiving is this week. Unfortunately, I did not press this stamp down hard enough, and so the Making Memories didn't fully come out, but I was too afraid to try to stamp it again. Since the letters are so tiny, I didn't want it to get blurred. So I'm just going to deal with it as it is. Now I'm going to replace this larger splatter stamp with a small one. I knew that larger size splatter stamp would have just kind of taken over the left side of the spread, which wouldn't really have worked for what I have in mind. So I pulled out this tiny little splatter stamp, and what I end up doing is using it to create almost like mini splatter clusters. So here I am, I laid it down once, I'm putting down the more pink abstract stamp, but you'll see that I'm going to add some more splatter marks and clump them together a little bit so that you still get enough of the splatter, but it's not overwhelming. And as I'm kind of moving my way down the page, I'm trying to make sure that the way that I place these splatter stamps is, not the same going all the way down. Same thing with the abstract stamps. Here I am going back to my splatter stamp, and basically the idea behind this is that I was intending on having the left side of the page separated into 8 sections, the top section being the month, and then the 7 sections under that being one for each day of the week. And the deco is basically going to be behind where I'm going to put each day of the week down with a black stamp. And then on the right side, what I was going to do is put down basically just have like a running to-do list. That was my initial idea. What ended up happening was a little bit different than that, but that was my initial idea. And to be totally honest, because it didn't turn out that way, I'm very tempted to do a similar spread to this again before the end of the year to see if I like it with a running to-do list. So here I am just adding a little bit of deco to the top right. I didn't want it to be too overwhelming, but I am intending on putting a header there, and I wanted a little something to be resting behind it. So again, just clumping up some of the splatter, and then one of those abstract stamps in the pink. Now I'm going to pull out my Studio Calico letter set. I absolutely love this letter set. I got it when I first started stamping, and I've used it a bunch. Not so much when doing my weekly spreads, but I've definitely used it in my reading journal. I've used it when I've made my monthly cover pages in this planner. And so I decided I was going to use it for the days of the week. Now these stamps are larger and they're wider, and so my intention was not to do the entire day written out, only the first letter of each day. But what I was also intending on doing was putting down the date next to it using those number stamps I have from Studio Calico. I ended up deciding against that because once I put the dates down, there really would not have been much to write, much room to write in these boxes that I'm going to create on the left side of the spread. And basically, what I want to use these boxes for is for any appointments, any meetings, and my work schedule. So if I put the dates on top of the days of the week, or next to the days of the week, I should say, um, I just wouldn't have had room. So after I stamp this final Saturday and Sunday, we will be done with the Studio Calico letter set. I think I do go up to the top of the page. It might be before, I'm not sure if it's before or after I write in my lines, but I do eventually go to the top right corner of the spread and write in to do, because again, that was going to be my running to-do list. Here I am taking my ruler as well as my Micron 08, and I'm gonna write in all of the lines that I need to complete the spread. So as you can see, first line I'm putting in is splitting this page vertically, and then what I was intending on doing is lines through the left side of the spread and then a running to-do list on the right. But as you will see here, I messed up, and I continued those lines all the way through the entire page. Now, the sad thing is, I did not realize that I was making an error with any of these 7 different lines that I wrote in. Like, totally didn't realize it. You'll actually see the point at which I do realize I messed up, but at the same time, I feel like this version of this spread will also be very functional for me. I do generally use daily to-do lists anyways. Um, there's not much space, but I'm going to be able to make it work. So now that I have all of those lines in, This must be when I use oh, that's me realizing I made a mistake. Um, but now I'm going to go in with my Pentel Energel 0.5 and I'm going to write in to do as my header for that right column. And that is it for this week's spread. I hope you all enjoyed this play with me. And as always, everyone, please be safe. Bye bye.